for instance, some people, when they think of the smart grid, they think of all that data. What's happening with all the information in the system? And so that, from that viewpoint, you may have, does anybody have a smart sensor at your home? So there's a lot of controversy about the smart sensors, and there are good ways and bad ways to try to sell the smart sensors. But the idea is that you would have better information about how much energy you're actually using on a minute-by-minute basis in your home. And the utilities could also better understand what the load demand is, and that information could be given to you in a form that you might be able to optimize and lower costs. Smart devices are things that you would put now on the smart grid. So right now your computers are on the grid, they're generating energy, they're using energy as well. Printers, appliances, thermal systems, lights are interesting, and that's something I'm going to talk a bit more about. Security systems could be put on the smart grid, health monitoring systems, entertainment systems, and so on. So it's now hard to distinguish your internet from the smart grid from some local networks. And the idea is they may eventually talk to each other. Well, PG&E started smart meters in California, Pacific Gas and Electric, and did a terrible job at advertising, a terrible job of working with customers. And so people were offered the choice and refused them. You know, they were going to be given smart meters. There was actually a campaign where they had no smart meters, you know, with a cross through it. And whenever anybody would ask, you know, how are you going to use the smart meters, they gave them just a terrible, uninformative response. And so this is part of the work that I do. I'm really interested in the human-centered aspect of design and technology, and looking at how the technology can enhance the quality of our life and help the planet. And so PG&E has tried to now rethink why they have the smart meters and why and how they communicate with the public, with the idea that ultimately we all share the goal of saving energy. I mean, nobody is proud, I don't think, of all the energy they're using. You want to increase the quality of life. You want to be convenient. You want to be safe, because there's a security issue, positive and negative, and peace of mind, which might have to do with things like monitoring your health or monitoring the health of someone that you care about. And I don't know if it's worthwhile to show this or not, or whether I can even do it. But here's an example of how now they have changed their campaign. And maybe.
What's the objection? They think that Big Brother is watching?
Well, I'll address that. Let's see. Who said that? Who is the Big Brother? Yes, Big Brother. You'd be surprised what Big Brother can do now, too, that we're not resisting with our smartphones and everything else. But that is absolutely critical to the system. Okay, so we have the potential now, with everything being metered, with the information flows going in many different directions, to have smart homes, smart offices, and smart cities. And so Zigbee, by the way, did this graph. They're a company that does standards for these kinds of networks. Being able to instrument your lights, your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, you know, your toaster, your refrigerator, your entertainment system, healthcare, teleassistant, so you can monitor health or health of a loved one, monitoring security, you know, a smart door or something, smart windows, temperature and gas, etc. And then in your office space, connecting on the internet what you're doing in your car, so your car could communicate. And then the digital city in terms of, you know, is there a parking space in this garage I'm going to, so that, you know, or do I need to drive around and go somewhere else? Environmental monitoring is, you know, are there greenhouse gases? Is there a concern about CO2 in the building I'm in, and maybe we should put some more plants in it? And these kinds of issues. I talk about the car because at Berkeley we do have a project called the Millennium Car Project, in which everybody who's agreed to sign up for this program transmits where they're at. And then it gets stored and is used instantly to tell about traffic jams. You know, so it's anonymous, so you don't know where you are as an individual, but it gets displayed so that when you're in the car, you know where somebody is stuck, and then they can analyze traffic patterns. Do any of you use, some of you may have health monitoring systems, right? Do any of you use that Fitbit, see how many calories you're burning up? No, nobody's out there jogging, okay. One of my graduate students is trying to lose weight, and so he's got this Fitbit somewhere on his body. And what it does is it wirelessly sends information to a cell phone or something else, and then you can go to a website and display it. And your comment with the Big Brother is that they've done some data mining, and it turns out you can tell exactly what somebody's doing if you see their Fitbit. What kind of physical activity they're engaged in. There's a pattern. So, security is a big issue here.